Before I kick this one off, guys, this video is sponsored by Dev1ce. If you're looking for high quality CSGO or TeamSpeak servers, make sure to check them out with the link in the description. We'll get 10% off using the code ELMAPUDDY. Hey guys, what is going on? I'm sure most of you worked out by now. We're going to be comparing Dev1ce and s1mple, two of the best AWPers we currently have in the game. I'm going to be focusing on the fact that you, as a regular human being, should be focusing on playing Dev1ce. It's much more reproducible, it's a much safer style of AWPing, and you're going to see more consistent results. Now, saying this, I don't dislike how s1mple plays. When you have as much talent as he does, I actually really like how he uses it. So I'm just going to be talking about that. But the focus is going to be on how you should be improving your game, maybe looking at more Dev1ce demos than s1mple, even though s1mple potentially has better numbers. So starting off, we're going to start with the banana example because obviously it's quite a simple one to begin with. And this is how you should normally play it. You get the first pick there, especially if you're solo in this scenario, and you fall back and you delay for as long as possible. And you can see he does a good job right now. Forces z1ce and Edward to double face him. If he goes down right at the beginning, if he re-peaks banana, he gets taken out. These players can rush onto the side. And you see him getting this kill and staying alive is really important for allowing these two players to rotate in. They're not quite in position, but him staying alive for as long as possible, taking that next relatively safe fight for the AWPer, obviously forced a little bit wider than he'd probably like because of the Molotov, gives these players time to rotate in. He's going to re-peek out, end up losing this fight to z1ce, but you can see his job was definitely done then. z1ce was able to rotate in here, Dupree has just been taken out by Electronic, and things are seemingly going the way of Astralis in this one. It's until z1ce turns up, because he's of course a fragger, and he's going to actually end up winning this round. But you can see that's a very standard way to AWP banana, especially when you're in a very team-orientated team. That sounds weird, but a lot of teamwork involved with a team like Astralis. They trust each other to rotate in, and so Dev1ce delaying like that is one of the big reasons. It really just fits into the whole philosophy Astralis have behind their game, and it's something I definitely expect from them. Very standard CS, very Danish CS in general. And I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I know you guys like to see the fact that z1ce gets a nice 3k and wins the round overall for Na'Vi. So what about s1mple AWPing banana? Well, obviously it's impossible to find two rounds that are identical because that's the beauty of CS. It's always changing. You can play the same 7 maps over and over again, but it's all reactive, depends on what's going on. So obviously a bit of a force spy coming from Na'Vi in this scenario might prompt s1mple to be a little bit more aggressive. So we'll see what's going to happen here. First of all, he's tagged down to 19 HP, and rather than falling away like we might expect from a player such as Dev1ce, he's going to re-peak. Definitely tradable there for him. Someone from Astralis could have been closer, but he takes the risk, has the read, and gets the man advantage. Now he's going to move into and make a play such as this. He's going to get ready to peek out of the smoke. This is where things I start to disagree with. So right now, Edward gets a kill with his nice Mag 7 up here on top of the boxes. So what is it right now? A 5v3 for Na'Vi. Even though it is a force spy and Edward is isolated on the site, s1mple is still going to decide to push through this smoke. And if there's someone to hit this shot in this 0.1 of a second, you're out of the smoke and there's an availability, I'll trust it to be him. Also, one thing I want to point out about that play from s1mple is he waits for Edward to take the contact before he pushes through. Obviously, relying on the fact that Edward might draw some of the attention. That's obviously what he's hoping for. So from that point of view, it's not just a random push through the smoke. There is a little bit of thinking involved because of the contact and where he thinks the T side will be focusing their attention overall. Now, Edward is able to fall back into the site, and again, he's going to be delaying. Na'Vi not overly convinced about this take. You can see the rotation's a little bit slow. But I want you to see the timing of this right now, and this is actually quite a good example. As Edward goes down, that smoking connector is now fading. So if s1mple does not push through this smoke, he allows it to be a 5v3. Maybe Edward goes down, it becomes a 4v3. Even with the force spy, that smoke fading right now, s1mple can apply a lot of pressure from connector before this smoke comes in. You can see right now, they're just planting the bomb without a care in the world. This could definitely be a potential kill for s1mple. Also, it allows them to start in much more stronger after plant positioning. So you can see z1ce spots the player here. They're much more comfortable, and ultimately it's going to go the way of the Astralis. So I would definitely recommend, if you're playing with your team, to play a little bit more passive. Sit behind that smoke such as s1mple did. However, if I want some person or one person in the world to be going for this kind of play through a smoke, trying to hit that shot, it's going to be s1mple. I'm going to show you examples as well where it works. Because obviously, I'm making this video, right? I can be really nitpicky. I can show you ones where s1mple doesn't work out for him. But I'm going to show you ones where it works as well, because his playstyle a bit more risky and, as I said, a little bit more inconsistent. When you are as talented as him, I actually don't mind these kind of plays. But when you're holding banana like that, I definitely recommend you, as a normal pleb, just AWP it like Dev1ce. Another one of the great things about this game is there never is a 100% play. It's always a risk versus reward factor you have to try and sum up. Such in that previous clip, s1mple obviously thinks if they're looking at Edward and he pushes through, he can shut this round down 100%, and with the economical game taken into consideration, could be the massive swing into that round. Another play I really like from s1mple is this one, and this is only because it's simple. If this is you don't do this once again. But notice he's going to walk in here, and this is a very difficult thing to do. Turn away from a flash like that, come back and peek on to Dupree. And I really like this play from s1mple. It's for a number of things. The first one being obviously that he's regressing with the AWP. The second one being the fact that he's killed the first player and he knows the second one's there and he wants to hunt him down and give Na'Vi a 5v3 in this scenario. This being because if you watch any pro games, Astralis or whatever, it is very, very rare for players, the T side, to put 3 players into connector at the beginning of a round. So s1mple thinks he's probably isolating another 1v1 here, which he was until Dev1ce ended up rotating back. So he's really backing himself to make this shot, and even with the flash coming in, you can see how good this guy is at staying scoped in, avoiding that flash, coming back and winning the fight against Dupree, another one of the most talented players in the world. So even though Dev1ce rotates in and gets this kill, from a player such as s1mple's point of view, I absolutely love this play because in his mind and in my mind, if I'm as skilled as s1mple, I'm thinking I'm giving my team a 5v3 and we're winning this. Even though if you watch a player like Dev1ce, after that first pick, he's probably falling away. But what's better than a 5v4, a 5v3? And as I said, if I'm s1mple, I'm backing myself every day of the week. But if I'm you sitting at home, and unless s1mple's watching this, maybe Kenny S a few years ago, I would not recommend doing this because you're probably going to lose that fight to Dupree. He's going to have the advantage with the AK at that much closer range, and he's probably going to end up bringing it back to a 4v4. But if you're s1mple, as I said, I really, really enjoyed that play, and I think he definitely made the right call for his skill set in that scenario. Now, with any AWPer, there's going to be a supportive element involved. Whether you're s1mple, Dev1ce, or even an amateur AWPer, you should be playing a more supportive role, getting yourself onto angles, looking for potential picks, such as Dev1ce in this scenario. You can see he's going to peek out, hold this line here. If someone wants to peek from sight, try and get some information, it's quite a likely chance he's got to kill someone. Also, some of the jump spots, he has that information for his team. They kind of know what's going on here. So this is very standard. I'm also going to show you an example of s1mple doing that in a second. Flash coming over, he has to turn away before Magisk helping him out to take out Electronic. And you see again, Dev1ce just returns to this much more supportive style, looking for any gaps that could potentially arise while his team's getting ready to throw their smokes and aggress onto the side. And this is very standard right now. You can see he's not even looking for a kill. He's just got his Molotov out, Molotoving bank to try and stop these rotations before finding a potential hole in the take where his team could be punished, and basically just locking down Flamey, who could have been basically the only threat left into this round for Astralis overall. So you can see Dev1ce's job there is really just to try and isolate or remove as many threats as possible. The Molotov, a very supportive element, if you want to call it that, throwing that into the bank, and then also just opening that little hole that could potentially have been a problem for them while they were going in for this one. It's nothing overly aggressive, and honestly, quite easy things to do. Even me, as a complete rubbish player, could probably have hit that shot. So you can see Dev1ce really setting himself up for success, and Astralis as a whole having a really easy time into this round. Now, as I said, s1mple is one of the players who is obviously very capable of this as well. Playing a little bit of a game here with Dev1ce, only just seeing each other's heads, or Dev1ce could see from his scenario. Before coming out here, he's going to continue playing the supportive element. And this is one of the best things about s1mple, is we've seen the very aggressive side of him, but he'll also slow it down, just do stuff very similar to what we saw Dev1ce do here. Hold long, wait for anyone to potentially give an opening like we might see. Flash for teammates in, such as he's going to do for Edward in a second here. So he's going to flash him into bathroom. And this is, again, very supportive elements, very similar to what we normally see from Dev1ce. Now, the reason I think s1mple is so good and something that elevates his game to the next level is Dev1ce is a little bit predictable. And I mean that in the fact that you know he's probably not going to re-peek 700 times and catch you off guard. So once he peeks once, you're probably relatively safe to assume he's not going to re-peek. Obviously, there are circumstances where he will re-peek. For s1mple, you not really know, and you have to be prepared for everything. As you see, again, this is going to be very similar to before. Magisk walks out into his crosshair, and s1mple doing what you should do with an AWP. Just hold those angles, protecting a player such as Edward. Very similar to what we saw from Dev1ce. Now, as I was saying before, this is where s1mple can really change the pace. And rather than having his Molotov out and being a more supportive element throughout the whole take, you can see s1mple just takes things into his own hands here. So 4v4 right now, and s1mple's about to say, that's enough. I want to take over this round, and this is not something you'd see from any other AWPer, but again, when you're as good as s1mple, you can do absurd things like this, and this frankly is absurd. And if you can replicate things like this, you let me know, because I can't, and I know not many other people could, but he turns this into a 2v2 with the bomb down, and Na'Vi are going to end up coming on top. Electronic gets the first kill before getting taken out, and it does eventually go in the favor of Edwards. You see a 4v4 scenario where there's absolutely no chance. If you can find a clip of Dev1ce doing that, I'll be very, very surprised, and Na'Vi come out on top. And these are the kind of things I love about s1mple, is the fact that he is so unpredictable, you have no idea what to expect, and Astralis can't get comfortable in their retake, they can't try and plan something, so all of a sudden, this player with an AWP pops up on top of the box and gets 2 kills, completely disrupting everything Astralis is trying to get done. And this is a reason why I think s1mple is such an important player for Navis because he can do these things, whereas a player like Dev1ce, he won't do these things. So it's a little bit more predictable, and if you're versing Navi, you better always be on your toes because you have no idea where this player is going to pop up, and because he's so talented, he can literally pop up anywhere and just hit those shots and really shut things down. Whereas most players, they're not going to hit those shots. Them popping up might be fun to start off with until their head's banged off because they missed their couple of shots, and that's the end of that. Whereas S1mple, you can do this kind of thing. Now, Dev1ce does, of course, make plays. You're not going to just see him sit back all the time, but they're going to be very calculated plays, such as this one here, where the pressure is coming in from his teammates. You can see the smoke's coming towards window, towards short, and there's pressure coming out from Magisk and Glaive. That's going to be when he sees no one in these two positions. Obviously, right now, he's thinking about the fact that they're probably going to try and fight middle of the CT side. A lot of pressure's coming in from my teammates with that utility being shown, as you can see on the map right now. So I'm going to go looking for a pick, so it's a little bit more methodical, and he's going to find Rain right now, peeking all the way out, finding the player before, again, straight away disappearing, just locking down this potential rotation, which is actually quite strong. If you have an AWP angle on this, just a big avenue of movement, which is going to be a struggle for the CTs to try and get around. Now, eventually, the trades do start to come in. You can see Glaive just went down. Mid control's only left with Magisk, Dev1ce, and Zipex is coming back towards A ramp, and he does get taken out. You can see when this pressure does start to come in, Dev1ce is going to make a play. Again, obviously, they're down a man in this scenario, so it becomes quite interesting, especially with Zipex there supporting. Guardian's going to peek into that angle I was talking about a second ago. Before Dev1ce actually is going to sell a fake in this scenario all by himself. And there's often a reason behind why he makes such aggressive plays. And one thing I love about this is the fact that obviously, who fakes with an AWP? If your Dev1ce just got 2 AWP kills and then you find Dev1ce by himself, or you kill Dev1ce looking into CT like this, you think, okay, they're trying to plant or trying to get onto the A site. Dev1ce is probably just trying to protect his teammates as they come in. So Dev1ce gets taken down. But what he's really done is he's just sold a fake here, and you can see Exist very worried about someone maybe trying to split onto A, and this whole time Dev1ce has just walked in here. So Dev1ce has made a play, he's gotten 2 kills playing relatively passive, but he's really enabled his teammates to get aggressive on the other side of the map, and Dev1ce is going to do a great job locking this one down. So even when Dev1ce does get aggressive, it's almost, I don't use the word random, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's less random than when S1mple does it. But if obviously S1mple still has, he calculates, I've explained a lot of what he does and when he does it. And I want you guys to also think, that previous clip, when S1mple does jump out of the boxes, if that's against you, what are you doing? You're shouting, what an idiot, why has he done that? And that's exactly why he does it, because he catches you off guard, he's skilled enough to punish you while doing what a lot of people think is a bit of a silly play. Whereas Dev1ce, he's going to play more methodical within the system of Astralis, and you can see there, even when he does get aggressive, there's often a big reason behind it, such as Dev1ce getting aggressive on the other side of the map, maybe trying to sell some kind of fake. So am I saying you should never learn anything from S1mple, not watch S1mple demos? Absolutely not. He makes a lot of plays which are correct no matter what your skill level is, whether you're more of an amateur player or whether you're a professional player above the rest of the professional players, such as S1mple is as far as skills are concerned. It doesn't matter. A lot of what plays he makes are definitely replicable, and you can do them no matter what your skill level is. But there's these extra plays, such as the one I've shown you today, where you'd be ill-advised to try and replicate them, simply because you are not that skilled compared to S1mple, compared to the rest of your peers that you're playing against. No matter what, you should be playing against people relatively the same skill level as you. S1mple's just gone to the top, and then he's topped the top, so he has this ability to really just almost smurf on people. Is maybe a little bit of a harsh way of saying it, but he is almost that good at the game. But definitely rounds such as this one here, where again he's playing very similar to Dev1ce, playing more supportive, a little bit more consistent this one, helping his teammates potentially get out ramp, and then playing the after plan really well, as we'll see in a second. Makes things, yeah, he definitely does the right job here, trying to get through again. Much more aggressive than maybe things as Dev1ce would say, but again, he's creating space for his teammates. So a more aggressive AWPer, even if you're not that skilled, such as someone like JW or someone, will definitely make plays like this. And you see the space he's creating for his teammates to get out, such as Edward on the map. You can see he's made his way all the way past triple box, and he's doing some work in towards CT spawn. So there's definitely things you can learn from S1mple if you're a more aggressive AWPer. But if you're trying to create this more replicable, this more consistent playstyle where you can consistently win fights, and really help boost your team, you're looking for consistency, which I think is the #1 thing, I definitely recommend checking out a few more Dev1ce demos. S1mple in this one, very good support, more aggressive support in this scenario, but that play there, really good if you want to replicate that. If you're a more aggressive style of AWPer, that round there is one I really like from S1mple. But that is it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think, S1mple or Dev1ce. Make sure to like the video and subscribe, of course, if you did enjoy this kind of content, and I'll catch you all in the next video.